So what I was doing working with these counselors is the small percentage that know their system doesn't work would come to me because they're hungry, they're theoretical, they're information junkies. They want to learn more.
Yeah.
And they love state-of-the-art stuff. And so they would come, and then a percentage of those would buy, and I would train them, and they're open doors like crazy to write school curriculum, to start clinics, to work with veterans, foster care. Foster care children go through 15 home placements in a childhood.
Oh, wow.
This is not told enough. One of my biggest drivers is how much tools and information are not given to the public.
Explain it.
We don't all know that an adopted kid goes through 15 placements on average.
No, definitely not. Right.
On average. So their brain can't trust. That's trauma by itself. Every adult that walks in the room, who are you and where am I going? Who am I going to, and then they want to sabotage it because I don't want to go, or I hate this place. We create all the bad behaviors because we're trying to escape system problems.
Mm. Wow.
And so we don't even know how to communicate or listen to the person or the guardians, parents, the industries that's placing them, the courts. Life's exhausting. And we want to bring solutions. We're solution-focused, neurobehavioral therapy that teaches what's right about you. And it's very peaceful. Regardless if your mate, parents, kids, work, environment is messed up.
All right. So right there, so right on that, what you're doing, what is your best day, your best experience? Because what you're doing, you're teaching people how to think, how to see themselves better, how to see life different.
My best day is when someone calls me and says, Randy, my client got it. Let me tell you what happened. And they delivered the program, not me. And the client got it and they had success and they're peaceful and they're happy. I'm like, dang, that's great. I remember when I wrote, whatever they did, I remember when I wrote and trained them how to do that and put it in the package and it worked. And it could be a 6-year-old that's oppositional defiant, throwing desks. It could be a high schooler. It could be a 40-year-old man that's autistic. Our system works with any diagnosis or any age because it's so well principled and foundational, which means we should all learn it.
Right.
And somehow the corporate world and education and business doesn't package it to teach this stuff. I'm floored by that point. They're all caught up in their own little entities of what,
That's right.
I sell eye makeup. Don't talk to me about purses. I do eye makeup.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right.
I sell food. I sell cars. You need insurance. No one's putting the package together for the person to develop. And today education is all about the students making the school look good. It is not about training the kid or teaching the kid.
Really?
Yes. That's why they want them to test to prove we're okay. We've inverted everything productive. The capitalistic society and money and politics it's one of the best things a human does is destroy systems. We can do that. Whether it's the family, the workplace, the sports team, the church, government, human nature has so many errancies in it. And I tell people, welcome to Earth. Let me punch your card. But it doesn't mean you can't be happy. It doesn't mean you can't succeed. You can become anything. Literally, you can become anything you want. You have a different starting point.
Yeah, but people put happy as what is that saying that says, happy is not a destination, it's the journey. Is that something like that, right? Because people think of it, if I get this, I'm happy. No, that's not.
Yeah, no, we're constantly becoming. There is no destination. We need to learn to enjoy and embrace who we are and be. The brain won't let you do that. Your personality dynamics have triggers that I got to achieve, I got to talk, I got to plan, I got to prevent. So those screw you up. Your events in life and your memories are flagging you. None of that's required for you to be. If you're in your conscious mind, you can be without all of that, and then you can connect with your spirit, and that's what the real goal is. Because all those things are going to die.
Yeah, it's true.
Your spirit is designed to live forever. So you're timeless. You will always be a conscious you.
Okay.
So does 1,000,000 years or 40 million years matter?
So let's talk about that. Because again, as a believer in God, believe in Jesus, I love when someone has that belief. Where did your belief come from?
I grew up Southern Baptist, little town, went to church Monday, Sunday night, Wednesday, mowed the yard on Saturday. But we went to business meetings on Wednesday, and then we prayed with the people we just fought with, But where I really learned it was reading scripture in college. I memorized chapters and chapters of the Bible, and I read it, and I learned all these principles and dynamics. And the spiritual life is really what it's all about. The Old Testament is really about God revealing himself to man. The New Testament is about the spirit of man living in us and us connecting. A lot of people think the Old Testament's about the laws and
Right.
judgment. It's backwards. I love inverted thinking. You got to look from the other side of the two-way mirror, so to speak. The Old Testament's really about you can't live up to these laws. You're not supposed to. You're not designed to do that. God didn't say, if you eat of the tree. He said, when you eat of the tree, you will disobey. So he knew. And he always has a resurrection for us. So this is the deep part. It doesn't matter what our problems are spiritually. When you look at it from the back end, from God's end looking at us, it doesn't matter what our problem is. He has a resurrection for it. The key is the human brain wants comfort. That's not what spirituality does. God leads you to a point that you have to give up something to trust him. Moses was led to the Red Sea.
Right.
The enemy's coming to kill him. 600,000 people are not on his side. They're griping, plus women and children.
That's right.
How many of us can stand that?
That's exactly right.
And the greatest army in the world is coming to kill us, and he's supposed to stand there and be peaceful and say, we got this. And he puts the rod up, and the sea parts, and God parts it, and God kills the enemy. God reveals himself to us. That's the whole point. But we have to give up. And the thing, take up your cross and follow me, is not about just everyday problems. It's learning to give up your expectations that seek comfort.
Okay, so I just had a woman here last week, and she was talking about this her wording was, do what you can, and at some point you have to turn it over to God, and you have to just trust.
Yes.
So it's sort of the same thing.
Do what you know to do. If you're looking for an answer from God, maybe he's already given it to you. So do what you know. And then he'll open and close doors. Now, if you're banging into walls and everything's dead and it's not working, you're in spiritual warfare. That's how you learn you're in spiritual warfare, because there is evil. We all have thought evil thoughts that aren't ours.
Right, sure.
Where did that come from? It's not us. So we're a conduit to good and evil. And we get to sort and choose. The choosing is so powerful in the human, and then to create. But we got to get past this brain, the personality, and the wound, so that we can get into these elements of that dimension of living. And that's where the beauty is. And once you learn to trust that, you're not afraid of anything. I say it in a funny way, because I like art. Art works for people because the Spirit thinks in art terms. Imagine you're a flower on the prairie in front of the Teton Mountains. You're the only flower that day blooming, a little yellow flower. What is the flower doing? Nothing. They're just blooming. They're just being a flower. But the attitude has to be, isn't it great? Aren't those Tetons lucky to be next to me? Isn't that a great thought?
It is a great thought.
That's the attitude we need.
But most people don't have that attitude.
No, because we're interrupted by the brains trying to protect us, our personality giving us all these tendencies, and our experiences of what we think we know.
So finding happiness, could be, again, because you do this stuff for a living, if you could, again, there's a lot more to it, but finding happiness, what would be like one piece of advice you would give to the business owner, well, I guess anybody, but the business owner who's struggling through stuff, finding happiness, getting to the end point, dealing with stress today?
Well, you mentioned so many things there.
That's true.
It's I'll try to think of other ways to say it. It's learning to be. Removing all these expectations and just enjoying your creative expression is happiness.
Enjoying your creative expression.
Mm-hmm. No one can bring that expression you can to the world. That's the true you.
And dealing with other people, because that's an everyday life. Dealing with the spouse, dealing with your kids, dealing with the person at work who you think is a jerk. Because that's, if your attitude is different towards that person.
Well, and I've had that. I've had people I've had to work with that were very unethical. And I couldn't figure out what in the world was the driver behind that, because they were in an ethical job, but they weren't doing it ethically.
Yeah.
And I learned one time playing a piano that they would come up and taught me some blues riffs that I didn't know, runs. And I went, wow, I've been looking at them singularly. There's a whole other side to this person that I can appreciate. And I learned, oh my gosh, I'm looking at everybody with my judgment. That's not required. I can look at what beauty they have and disagree with this piece that they're not doing.
Wow, that's a good point.
And it really freed me to work with anyone and to be in any kind of a contentious situation.
So, Managing Your Crazy Self, this can be found on, I'm telling you, excellent. I've lent this book out twice. Once, I'm part of a private school that's for kids, I say with autism, but autism is such a giant umbrella.
It's only one thing.
That is only one thing. But it's kids who are deal with neurological challenges, is another way of putting it. And I sent the book to the owner, who immediately called and said, we need Randy to come out, which is so cool. Again, because she has all sorts of degrees, and she's like, this guy gets it. So let me close with that, because I believe that everybody has, and I asked this question of you, because I've done 2 interviews today. Everybody has a God-given talent.
Yes.
Okay? And again, I'll explain this if you haven't seen my other videos. To me, a God-given talent is something that comes to you naturally. You don't have to work for it. It just comes to you. You can't explain it. It's just easy. What is your God-given talent?
There's 9 spiritual gifts we use in our program on the 10th step. Creating, inventing, making something better. My gifts are teaching and encouragement. But what I learned looking back, I didn't even know it until I was 50, is I love taking something and make it develop into something more complex and beautiful and rich, right?
Yeah.
And it just comes to me. I don't know where it comes from. It's just an innate thing that I love. And there's some people that are, my mom used to say, Randy, just appreciate what I've done. You're always wanting to make it better. I'm just throwing out ideas. It's just options. I'm not judging. But looking back, I had it all along. I didn't know I had it. And so I didn't give myself permission. And I sabotaged myself by not pursuing it. Now, other people see it, but they don't tell you either. There's all kinds of dynamics that challenge us.
Yeah.
And I love freeing people into their true giftedness, whatever that might be.
Randy, tell people how to get in touch with you, website, phone number.
ManagingYourCrazy.com is the website, which will soon be multiple because we've got business, nonprofit, clinics,
Nice.
everything. You can call at 281-703-6782 and Randy at ManagingYourCrazy.com if you want to send an email.